now you're in a position where you run your own show, same position that I'm in. I'm much happier than I was in corporate America for a variety of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think back on what it was like when you were with Regis, okay, and what it is now, do you see the
Yeah.
enormous difference in the
Oh,
media world?
we would have never, we would never would have gotten a chance in the form that we did a show. I mean, we were completely unscripted, didn't have a writer. We flew by the seat of our pants and loved it. And that's what made it exciting. It was unpredictable. We weren't concerned about, offending every single person out there. We were just trying to entertain them. We had no malice in our heart. We made more fun of each other than anybody made of us. And we had a ball. It's an old fashioned word called fun. Had the same thing with Hoda. But I'm grateful I had a time in this. It was like the golden years for me. It's the same way Frank felt about sports. Before everything became political, everything became about, culture.
Yeah, look, I
Trying
mean,
to.
the stuff that Regis said and you said back then, which was funny and gentle and harmless, you say it now, you're Twittered to death. You're in the
Yeah,
executive's board. Oh, you can't say that. What are you
I know.
implying? You have
And
this
as a result,
unbelievable
fun.
oppressive culture
I know.
that is watching
I know.
everything in a grievance way. It's the grievance industry has now permeated the creative industry. Regis Philbin, I sat next to him at opening day at Yankee Stadium in 2019, and he was
Right.
very depressed. Um,
Yes.
and I was talking to him seriously. We're watching the game, of course, and I'm saying, he goes, it's all over for me. It's all over for me. And I went, so what? Look at all you've done. You're an icon. The name Regis all over the world, everybody knows it's you. Okay? How many people
But
can say
that's not
that?
what he wanted.
So I
No, but
was,
that's what made him happy, Bill. What made him happy was being Regis. When he couldn't go out anymore and say, Regis is here. Hello, it's Regis. When they couldn't see him because he couldn't wear a mask, he was wearing a mask, couldn't go out and be with his friends and reminisce and tell stories because you can't go anywhere in California because everything's locked down. I had lunch with him 2 weeks before he passed, and we talked about that. He used to live his life so vibrantly and joyfully, and he wasn't allowed to anymore. And I think about the people that are dying of what Regis died from, and not from coronavirus, but from having the life sucked out of them. They can't go out, they can't hug people they love. We're dying from much
right,
more
but
than a
that'll be
virus in
over
our.
soon thanks to the miracle of our scientists. But the point I wanted to make to Regis, and it's an important point, is there comes a point in everybody's life where they have to accept their situation. And that man from the Bronx, I know him well. You know him much better than anybody, but I know him well. I mean, he did something that was extraordinary with his life. And I wanted him to celebrate that rather than be depressed. It was all over. But anyway, that's me. Okay, so your book is It's Never Too Late. And it's another uplift for folks who might want to be like you, move into other areas that are creative because we've all been given gifts from God. I believe that. And now might be your time to develop those gifts after you're finished with the corporate world, whatever it may be. Why should I, O'Reilly, spend $20 on this book?
You shouldn't. If you're not interested in it, you shouldn't. I'd send you one anyway. It's for people that, first of all, followed me through all these years and are just interested in what's going on in my life still. I've always felt so grateful, Bill, that I had people that no matter what the world screamed about me, no matter what the papers said or anybody said, they knew it wasn't true. I'm deeply grateful for people that knew my heart because whatever I shared on the air all those years was real. So like me or detest me, but it was on an honest basis, a truly honest basis. And they're still there for me. And I'm grateful for that. If this book can help somebody out of the rut they're in, or by watching the struggle and learning about the struggle instead of just the success that people think they know about, and they can learn that struggle is good. And God got me through so many horrendous things in my life, and it was all public. It was all public too. And if God can do that for me, he can do it for them as well. It's just meant to be an encouragement to people that, yes, everything in this world changes constantly. But the one thing that never changes is Almighty God. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And we can count on him. He's the only
All
thing we
right,
can
so it's
count
a
on.
faith-based book, makes a great Christmas gift. And finally, last question. You're now a Southern belle down there after spending most of your life up north in Connecticut, New
Yeah.
York City. How's it being a Southern belle?
I love it here. I love the culture here so much. I mean, I've worked in Nashville for over 40 years. I did my first sitcom in Nashville. It was called Hee Haw Honeys back in 1978. That's where I met Dolly, who does the foreword for my book. You know, down here, it's a culture of kindness. And there are people that are not kind, of course, but I'm talking about the culture, just like there are wonderful people in New York and in Connecticut. But the culture there has changed so much now. It's a culture of chaos. And it was rotting my soul. It was just rotting me. And I said, I have got to get away. I got to make a new life. There's a line in the movie that I wrote called Then Came You. It says, I love you, to my dead husband, and I've got his ashes. I say, I love you, Fred, but I got to make new memories, or the old ones are going to kill me.
Well, it's
And I'm not
very,
ready to
very
die.
telling. Well, I'm glad you're so happy. I want to point out that on this program, you can say Hee Haw Honeys, but if you were on NBC, you would have been hauled in. Okay, so that's the difference.
Oh, you know what? Cancel me. Who cares?
You'll never be canceled. Kathie Lee Gifford, a good woman, and I can tell you that, knowing her for decades. Kathie Lee, Merry Christmas. Thanks for helping us out tonight.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. You brought that back, didn't you?
I tried. Thank you. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. As you all know, the dollar's at a 10-year low, and November could spell real trouble. That's why I recommend you consider physical gold and silver, and the only company I do business with in this area is American Hartford Gold. You can call them right now. Make sure you tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you a free gold coin on your first qualified order. Since I have been recommending American Hartford Gold, gold's up over 40%, silver over 60%. So please don't wait. Call them now, 877-444-GOLD Gold. 877-444-GOLD Gold, or text GOLD to 65532.